All right, everyone, welcome back. We're in the bays, and I'm changing oil first thing in the morning. Got an LS53 here. Misfire. Needs a full tune. Full tune, Caleb.
Yep.
Stage 3 cam, stage 20 clutch, and a tune. So I was watching Eric O from South Main Auto last night. Fantastic guy. And I heard him curse, and I was kind of shocked. I was kind of shocked by it. He cursed. We had a Silverado that a used car dealer sold this guy, and then he said they had the frame recertified and inspected. Oh my God! Now you guys see my frame repairs, my rust repairs. Holy crap! Buyer beware buying Silverados. And Eric O said it best: if you were buying any vehicle, get a pre-inspection done from a quality mechanic. And Eric O even went to say that they should find out who the inspection facility was and go after their license for doing what they did to that frame, because it was bad. And then he went around with a little small pick, and he was just popping holes everywhere in it. And then he was in electrical diagnostic, and the customer was in it before him, which makes things difficult. So if the customer's clearing the codes or resetting the battery, it makes our job very difficult to get everything. Even at that, if we do get what's on the surface, what else is ready to pop or spit a code? We don't know. We can't read the crystal ball and say, tomorrow you're going to pop an EVAP code, the next day you're going to pop a misfire code, the next you're going to be an O2 sensor, and on and on and on.
Can't tell the future.
We can't tell the future. And neither can they with the brand new cars that have tons of issues. So what he was saying was that the customer said he had a WINS warranty, and boy did he just say exactly what I've been saying about WINS warranty, and I ain't hiding anything. He said WINS sucks, they never want to pay for nothing, and he said, listen dude, I'm not going to go to bat with you on the phone and waste hours of time fighting with them because they don't pay for nothing. He said WINS, Guardian, and one other one, I think it was Car Shield, he said also, and I was like, God damn, Eric O, my twin brother that I never knew I had. But yeah, he was laying into him, and Eric O is probably one of the best mechanics on YouTube. Now, I'm sure there's other mechanics that are fantastic that just don't want to be part of social media and making videos and things like that. But there's some seriously good dudes out there, and I think that Eric O takes his time. He's not being rushed. He's not worried about rotating tires and changing oil for, $29.99 and things like that. He would rather just be doing his job. I'm sure they're doing oil changes, but he's not chasing the oil change. He's chasing what he loves to do, which is fix cars. And like he said, he can't wait to retire. And I'm sure he feels the same way I did after 30 years in the business, nearing 40 years, that we love what we do. There's other parts of this business that just wear the shit out of us. But he definitely said, he's not wasting his time on the phone. He's not going to battle on the phone to try and help you get things covered with the worst aftermarket warranty company on the face of the earth. And then he said that he hoped that he would get retribution or sue the used car dealer, because he said his vehicle is basically a pile of shit and ready for the scrapyard. and he was right. There's no sugarcoating that. What was interesting about the video too is I haven't here. So here he was talking about the customer kept putting oil pressure sensors in for a 5-volt reference problem for the oil pressure sensor and the MAP sensor and the fuel pressure sensor, fuel tank pressure sensor. And he's like, I've been down this road before, I kind of remember what it is. So he just said, I want to speed up the diagnostic. He says, and it's very common that the corrosion back here causes that 5-volt reference problem, and the fuel tank pressure sensor or the pigtail is just pulling down the 5-volt reference. So we went back there and unplugged it, and the 5-volt reference signal came back. I haven't really seen that here in South Jersey. I'm standing under a Silverado that I've been servicing for 10 years at least, Bruce's, and there's not an ounce of rust on the frame here. And this has close to 400,000 miles on this.
This is no northeast rust. This is south rust.
Well, he takes care of it too. It's not like he's driving through mud and not getting it washed. It's not in that environment.
No, but I'm saying like to a northeast rust belt shop, this is pristine. No
yeah,
rust.
It's brand new.
To down south, like a Florida Tech,
yeah,
they see this and they're like, holy shit, that's got some rust.
When you talk about a customer who takes care of the car, he doesn't wait till the tires are bald. He waits till their treads are low, new tires. He doesn't wait till the brakes are grinding or at their minimums. When they're low, he replaces them all. Brings it in for regular oil changes, tune-ups regular. I mean, this truck is in such good shape that I said we should just put a new engine in it, and he's considering putting a new engine in it, like a brand new GM long block. So, and it would be worth it because there's really nothing. What is he going to buy for $10,000 used? Nothing. A big pile of crap that someone's never taken care of, and that's a fact.
That he's going to need to put another 5 to 10 grand.
That the frame is probably compromised, or the tranny is going to be shot, or the engine's burning oil. I mean, he already has an engine at almost near 400,000 miles that's burning oil. And we weren't the first people to start servicing this. This was a fleet truck before he got it. And then we've just been taking care of it ever since. So it would be worth, since it's not rotted out, putting a brand new engine in it. And if it needed a trans, if you're under 10 grand or 15 grand with a brand new motor and trans in a truck that doesn't need anything, it's a home run. You're gonna buy a $15,000, $20,000 pile of crap that we see every day come out of used car dealerships lots that need tons of work. They're barely good enough to get over the curb and for sale. That's a fact. But it was good to hear Eric O say that. And actually, I think he said it was a pile of shit. He called the customer's truck. And dude, when people critique what we do here, I just have to chuckle. And they say, oh, well, your welds are bubble gummy and this and that. I show you factory welds that come out of dealership parts departments that are just crap. And we're not, this isn't a fashion show when we're doing anything. Like when you go to Mako in a high volume paint shop, it isn't a fashion show for them either. There's gonna be blems, there's gonna be flaws. And as long as our exhaust don't leak, we don't care. Do we take pride in what we do? Absolutely. But it's productivity. And we're welding over our heads, and we're welding old material to new material. We're not sitting on a bench, acetoning, filing, sanding, prepping, taking our time. I think that's what some of these people think is like, oh, well, those welds look. Yeah, we're welding over our head with air blowing around, not in the right environment. The guys that are laying perfect welds are backfeeding argon and in an environment where there's not fans blowing or the temperature's changing. So it's difficult what we do. So anyway, I'm going to finish up this oil change, and yes, I'm going to use my power ratchet to put this back in. And then Caleb is going to move on to changing the spark plugs, I think the valve cover gasket. Not sure what else we're going to do here. Put the oil filter on? You couldn't even put the oil filter on?
You told me to get one for you. You never told me to put it on.
Is that what it is?
But it's getting plugs, plug wires, one coil, power, side valve cover gasket.
And then William. So there's a guy on our YouTube that said, when we were talking about building relationships, and he said that by you not putting air in people's tires is not building relationships.
Entirely different.
I said the same thing.
We'll do it for our regular customers, but we're not doing
Correct.
it for
So our regular customers, let me clear that up for you, William. Our regular customers that we know the conditions of their cars, we know what's going on, we've built a relationship with. By no means would they ever ask us just to put air in their tire. They would actually ask us to check to see why their tire has a slow leak or a leak. They don't want to be driving around like that. The customers that are not our real customers, and I'll say that, they just drove by and saw a spot that they could ask for, put air in my tires, while they drove by 3 Wawas and 4 other service centers with the sidewalls cracked, been driving it on a low tire and it's powdered rubber inside, nails in the sidewall, steel belts hanging out of it.
It doesn't matter which direction you're going, there's a Wawa. There's a Wawa one block that way.
Yeah.
Or if you go 5 minutes down the other direction, 130, you're gonna pass
Yep.
a Wawa on Pennsauken. We're going up 73. There's another Wawa.
And I did a video the other day. Guy cruised in the parking lot, got out of his car, looked at how flat the tire was, probably didn't even notice that the sidewall had a 10-inch rip out in it, and just continued to drive away. Did not stop and ask us, hey, could you put a tire on? Can you help me put a spare on? Nothing. And he's not a customer of ours, not a regular customer. I've had people complain that, and this is in the past, that we would do your mentality where you're trying to earn a customer, right? Put air in a tire, and then the valve stems snap off. You know what to say? Well, it wasn't broke till you touched it. Or now it's leaking and it wasn't leaking before you touched it because I just put air in it right up the road. Well, why wouldn't you want to get it fixed? They have no interest in that. So what I wind up doing, I wind up putting a valve stem in for free or putting a TPMS in for free because they're crying out the last to touch it. So the last to touch it is now, the last to touch it means it's going to come in the shop. My guys are going to look at it and say, this is what the car needs to fix it. And if it's a plug, a patch, a tire, a TPMS, and a valve stem, it's going to be all that. So, and now we're going to charge for that. If they don't, and that includes a plug. If they're not willing to have us at least check it out and see if the tire is good or safe and what's wrong with it, on the road you can go. I've learned it from my mistakes in the past by touching people's cars and getting blamed for problems that were probably already there because we didn't just say, hey, we really need to look at your car. So sorry, Will, if you want to set up an air can out on the side of the road out here and put air in people's tires all day long and look like the hero, go for it, but we're not doing it. No thanks. I've seen people's wheels come off. 19 years I've been here. I've seen multiple wheels come off and cause major accidents. You know how long they were driving with the wheels humming and grinding and shaking and knocking and banging until the wheel actually flies the frig off? Here, many times, 19 years on the highway. I mean, people have come in here with blown out tires and continue to drive and jumped across my medium, smashed their car to smithereens and drifted down the street. Seen that a million times. So you don't want to touch anyone's car. You know, this is a busy highway where we're not at an intersection. You know, people are whipping by here at 60, 80 miles an hour with their death traps. So we just don't do it. I won't put oil in someone's car. I won't do any. The car has to be checked out. And if the customer can't commit to that, I don't know what to tell you. We're just not going to do it. We have to have time to check the car to make sure it's safe and make sure that it's worth me touching it so I can hear that. Or ever since you put air in my tires, my radio stopped or my door doesn't close or some bullshit that I've heard in my last 30 years of being in business. So, but keep the comments coming, Will. You and I won't fight about it, but we'll talk about it. But a lot of reasons why I do what I do here. I'm a product of my environment. Thanks for watching.